I want to share with you the 7 financial lessons I wish I knew 20 years ago. When I was 20 years old, right, I recently turned 40 years old. When I was 20 years old, I was at the time probably backpacking around Ireland. I was staying in £11 per night, hostel. And now 20 years on, I'm staying right now here in the Four Seasons Hotel in Sydney. And I'm 40. I recently turned 40. So I'm thinking, what are the lessons that I learned from these, 20 years ago, over my 20 years, that I wish I knew when I was 20? And I started to write them down on a piece of paper because my mind works a bit like that. I thought, why not share them with you? What are the 7 financial lessons I wish I knew in my 20s? So 20 years ago, as I said, I was backpacking around the world. I didn't know much about money, and it took me a long time to get to where I am today. So what are the things that might help you to get there faster and to understand money more? So let me just give you these seven kind of lessons that I wish that I knew. And these are in no particular order, but they're all the important things that have helped me to build financial success over the last 2 decades. So hopefully you can get there faster than I did. So one of the lessons would definitely be around the understanding of compound interest. You might have heard that before, the idea of compound, but I didn't understand it. I didn't understand that $1 in your bank account, unless it's put to work, is not actually growing. It's not getting anywhere. It's not creating any wealth. And when I learned in my kind of probably in my 30s, really, so 10 years after this, about the idea of compound, the idea of that, $1 compounding every single day, in some instrument. So whether it be a business or whether it be a stock or whether it be real estate, that's going to make you more money than, saving $1 that's not doing anything or putting $1 somewhere that's not actually making any money. So compound. And I could also talk about the effort and the compound of effort, but to keep this about finances, because I want to teach you the finance lessons, the idea that I really wish I learned early on, because I came from a poorer upbringing, right? So both my parents didn't really have any money. They were divorced when I was younger. They didn't really have any money. So when you don't really have much money, you don't really, when you make money, you spend it, and anything you don't spend, you save, and you squirrel away into a bank account. But $1 in the bank account is not going to make as much as it going into an instrument that's compounding and growing. Now, I didn't realize any of that. So I wish I worked out earlier that and wasn't afraid to focus on where my money could compound and understand that that putting my money in the bank account wasn't going to make me rich. So the first one would be understanding about compound and how that works, compound interest and compounding money. The second lesson for me was a business lesson, a financial business lesson, which I learned early on. And that was the 3 most important reports that you need to learn if you own a business. And not knowing these reports meant that someone actually embezzled and stole a lot of my money. So take this lesson early on, because I wish I knew it. So there's 3 reports you need to care about as an entrepreneur. Number 1, the P&L, the profit and loss, or if you're American, the income statement that shows how much money's coming in, what do you spend it on, and then your EBIT, your money you get after everything before you pay taxes. So your profit and loss, your balance sheet. Your balance sheet really shows where you're at when it comes to your income, but also your debt positions, other equity you might have, and it kind of brings the whole health of the company into one sheet. Now, I didn't want to learn any of this early on. That was like the last thing I wanted to know about, but actually it's probably the most important thing that I look at now when I'm starting business or I'm acquiring businesses or I'm looking at the finances of a company. So the second thing is balance sheet. Third thing is the cash flow statement. That really is all about knowing where your position is from a cash perspective. And there's a saying in business, and that is that never run out of the runway. Never run out of runway. I just flew in recently, literally a couple of hours ago. I tell you, you don't want to land and run out of runway, because then you're screwed, right? So the second lesson for me is the 3 reports: P&L, balance sheet, and cash flow statement. You've got to learn all of those. I wish I learned that earlier on. The third thing is the power of multiple revenue streams in your life, let alone in a business. So in a life, you might have a job. Okay, that's one revenue stream. But do you have some stocks? That could be another revenue stream. Do you have some investments in a business? That could be another revenue stream. In my world of businesses, well, then I want to focus on having more than one revenue stream inside each one of my companies. When I worked that out, it was a game changer. When I worked out that you can have a company and then focus on finding multiple ways to bring more money into that one company, it really did change the game for me, because I found it was easier. And I suppose it comes back to the compounding thing, right? When you start to learn more ways to bring money into your business, not just a one way you got good at, like maybe sell online. Okay, cool, that's fun, but what else? Maybe sell in person. Okay, cool, but what else? So when I learned that you can build lots, and we do dozens and dozens of income streams in most of our companies, and sometimes we don't get dozens in every one of them, but if we can get 5 or 6 or 10 or 8, that's more than having one, right? So income streams. What else did I write down? I'm an asset. I wish I knew that earlier. I'm an asset. We spend so much money on, looking after painting our house because we can sell the house, or, if we crash the car, we get the dent fixed, or, all of these assets that are around us, we treat them accordingly, but we're an asset. I wished I knew that earlier on, because I didn't invest into me. I didn't invest into my education, into my spirituality and who I am and my feelings, my emotions, and who I'm becoming. So I wish that I saw myself as an asset early on. I definitely know that I didn't, because I just didn't grow up in an environment where I think that was what you were. You got a job and you bought a house, hopefully, and you paid it off when you were 150 years old, and then you retired, a couple of months before you die. Like it wasn't anything more than that. So I think knowing I'm an asset, that would be important. What else I wrote down was my number 5 was, and this was a big one for me because I came from a family with not a lot of money, and that was, not all debt's bad. There's good debt and there's bad debt. And I just thought debt's bad. And I thought, hang on a second. When I got more wise, I suppose, and I started to research more, find me a company that's doing really, really well that you know of, that doesn't have debt on their balance sheet. I mean, they all use debt to grow, but I thought, hang on, never have any debt. So what's good debt, what's bad debt, and having a better relationship around that and learning about that. What's good debt, what's bad debt, that's important. And that leads into my 6th point, and that was wealth psychology. I had really terrible hang-ups around money and thoughts around money. So, for example, I thought that if you had to have money, you had to be, you had to be come from money. I thought that you had to, be a bad person or do something wrong. Because I grew up, in a location, an area where those that had money had to either come from it, or they were doing something like that. So I didn't have great psychology around money. So it took me a lot longer to get it. But then here's the kicker. When I got it, I wasted it because I didn't feel worthy of having it. And that took me a while to work out. And so I would just spend it on stupid crap that just didn't serve me, And so I really had to work on my wealth psychology. That was important. And I think the last one for me, I wrote down that I wish that I could go back. I could zoom back to that kid and say, still, man, have fun, go out, enjoy yourself in your 20s. However, here's a couple of lessons, financial lessons I wish I knew in my 20s. This last one would be spending and not saving. We get sold this dream, this idea, I think, that you make money, save. When you look at the reality mathematically on saving money in a bank account and how much money that those companies that you give that money to make, which are some of the most profitable in the world, and then what you could do with that money, wow, it was a game changer for me when I worked that out. I am a big believer in investing money into things that are going to make me money. And for me, I focus on investing into me and investing into businesses because that gives me my greatest ROI. I've been, very fortunate enough to be able to start, build, grow, and scale some pretty successful companies, some 6-figure businesses, some 7-figure businesses, some 8-figure businesses, and even 9-figure businesses. And then also that's myself, and then invest into other businesses that have done really well and learn. Even businesses that are all worth almost what's SpaceX? I'm invested in that. That's probably worth about $400 billion at the moment, and it'll become $1 trillion company soon. So I've seen a lot and I've learned a lot around money. So I think for me, the idea of investing money and spending money versus squirreling it away into a bank account. And I worked out that was something I had to really work on within me, is being okay to not, so a lot of people I find have to have this kind of comfort level, like, oh, I'm comfy as long as I've got $5,000 in my bank account, or $2,000 or 10,000 or 100. The wealthier you are, the bigger that barometer gets. And I worked out that, why do I need to have that? I'm not saying don't have money for food and look after your family and yourself, but is it really, really critical that you save every dollar, or is it more critical that you put that money to work? That's what I didn't know. So I would focus on spending rather than saving. And I worked out a long time ago that scared money doesn't make money. You want to make money, you can't be afraid of money. You can't be afraid of making it. You can't be afraid of spending it. So that was my journey. So there's seven. If any of these help you, or if one of them help you, let me know which one you loved. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But there's 7 things that I wish that I could go back and I could insert those financial lessons into Aaron when he was 20, when he was backpacking around Europe. I wish I could tell him those financial lessons as well. So I hope you loved it. I hope you learned from it. If it helps, let me know in the comments. If you want more of this stuff, I'll do more of this stuff. There you have it. My 7 lessons that I wish I learned in my 20s that would have got me further faster, and maybe would have taken me 2 decades to be able to do it. Not that I didn't have fun and enjoy my hostel time, but to be here in one of the best hotels in the world, in one of the best cities in the world, and be able to sit here in this amazing suite and making this video for you, it really makes me think back to the lessons that got me here and what I wish I learned earlier on. There you have it. My 7 lessons, I wish I knew in my 20s, my 7 financial lessons that I wish I knew in my 20s that would have made me achieve some goals even faster in life. And I really hope they're going to help you.